Train would play that song. It's new music on Cars 108, 80s, 90s, and now. I'm Pat. There's AJ.
7:32. It's going to be mostly cloudy today. A little bit chilly this morning. Highs near 52.
All right, joined in studio by local Michigan author Ron Sandison. He is the man who put out a book called The Parent's Guide to Autism. It's because not only is he a parent, but you are a parent, an adult who is on the autism spectrum, and so this is something for the parents out there, well, like myself and AJ and many other.
One of the reviews in the front of the book here is, rarely do we find somebody diagnosed with autism that is able to communicate all of these experiences and feelings. There's a lot of books on autism, but there's not a lot written by people who are on the spectrum.
Doctors and stuff.
And that's why I was like, gosh, I'm so excited to meet you because I've met hundreds of kids on the spectrum. Never really met an adult who is comfortable talking about it in this manner.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is it's the first book published by a major Christian publisher written by someone on the autism spectrum.
It's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
So now the book is called The Parent's Guide to Autism. Where can people buy this book? Is it in stores? Did we get it online? We go to Amazon? How do we do it?
You can get it cheapest on Amazon, or you can go to Barnes & Nobles. They'll have it right on the shelf. You can go to Family Christian Bookstores. They carry the book there, and it's in all major distributing publishers have
okay.
it. You know?
I was about to say, man, books is where it's at. You always hear about those people getting those big bonuses, those, what was it, on writing books? They're like, here's money, write a book. We need to get into that racket,
I'm excited to read this because I kind of speed read, and I don't really input things unless I'm interested in them. And then I already read one paragraph of this book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's me. I did that with our son, where I think I kind of knew when he was like 2, but I was in total denial about it. And I'm so excited to read this. And my question for you is, I don't like saying, like I always say our son, he's high functioning. And I always in my head say, well, he'll grow out of it. But I don't mean it like that. I just mean like he'll grow to cope with it. And that's exactly what you've done, is you've learned how to cope with it.
Yeah, I've learned how to cope with it. Rob Parsley, a TV evangelist, he had me come speak to 6,500 people at his church. He has a son, Austin, who has Asperger's. And when he saw me speak, after I got done, he looked at me and winked, and he said, I didn't know how you could be up in front of all these people and not stem. And then I saw how you stem. You have a spinning ring, and you gently move that ring. And no one out there noticed that I was watching you, but I was watching you see how you would be able to stem with all these people and not have anyone notice it. Most kids with autism or young adults would be flapping their hands. They look like a bird.
Sure.
They couldn't fly.
Well, like the fidget toys. They always say that.
Well, and that obviously yours is with your ring. So what is in this book for parents out there? And obviously this is good for parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, anyone out there. I mean, we have a sales guy on our sales team who openly admits he has a nephew who's on the spectrum. And
he doesn't know how to relate to him.
He finds it hard to relate to him. What's in this book for people who are interested in picking it up?
My book teaches parents, professionals, teachers, educators, and everyone how to be able to take the child where he's at and help him to develop independence, help him develop ability to be employed, help him to develop the ability to have relationships, get married, and accomplish everything that everyone else is able to accomplish, and to live a more independent life. Not every kid is going to reach the same heights as everyone else. Some may shoot for the stars and they may only hit the moon, but they'll at least improve. And that's what my book's goal is, to help kids to be able to move up on the spectrum, learn new skills, learn coping skills, and also be able to interact with other kids in appropriate ways and learn coping skills.
That's the hardest part, man.
Well, that and like social skills. I mean, I talk about that with my half sister because she's on the spectrum and she's out in Connecticut, and she got her schooling for being a mortuary for working in a funeral home. And she couldn't find a gig, and I said, I can guarantee you it's because of her social skills.
She didn't learn how to cope to it and adapt.
I got to tell a funny story that goes in line with that. So I interviewed over 40 people who have autism. I interviewed a famous author, Jess, and his dad said to him, Jess, you need a job where you'll never offend someone, where you'll never lose your job because of something so inappropriate that the boss is considering calling the cops.
Yeah.
And he said, so I got a job.
Yeah.
I got it at a funeral home.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's what I always said. I'm like, my sister would be perfect.
You don't have to talk to anybody.
No.
But I just got to tell you, if you have a child on the spectrum, I mean, I've read one paragraph of this book, and it's all about, the paragraph I read is about, hey, you probably always knew with your kid, but, you're afraid to acknowledge it. People just said, hey, he'll come out of his shell. It's okay. My mom, to this day, just says our son is quirky.
Quirky, yes. She will never stick to the word.
And she'll never say he has autism. And I'm like, but admitting that he has autism is getting him the help he needs to cope with it. He's not just quirky, and that's okay.
Right.
I mean, he is quirky, but, as long as he learns how to cope, I can't wait to sit down and read this. I got to put it away because I'm reading it on the air here. It's so good.
Ron, when did the book come out?
The book came out April 5th of this year. And what was interesting is that I had my first baby March 20th. I came home from the hospital, and there waiting for Mikhail Marie, my baby, and me, was the first copy of my book from Charisma House. So both of these huge accomplishments happened at the same time.
And I think this is great for parents.
It's been a good year for you.
It hasn't,
yeah, good year.
But I think this is such a great, you're such a great example for parents who need a little bit of
reassurance.
Reassurance. Because I think all of us, you sit there and
that's
you have
the first thing we asked. Remember when we found out our son was diagnosed? We said, will he be able to be a productive member of society? Will he move out of the house?
Will he have relationships and children and marriage and whatever? And of course, the doctors are like, yeah. But in your mind, you don't have that reassurance. Yeah. And Ron, it's amazing talking to you.
You are the reassurance.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I have to do Barnes & Noble book sign. I'll sign a copy for Mom, and then she'll be crying saying, I just felt helpless today. My kid yesterday had a horrible meltdown. I didn't know how I was going to be able to make it another week. And then seeing that you here today and signing books and seeing your beautiful baby and your beautiful wife, it offers us reassurance. So
you're right.
I found that many times whenever I go.
Now, very curious about your wife. Now, your wife, on the spectrum or not?
She's not on the spectrum at all.
So has she figured out how to, I guess, because, I'm sure, our son has certain routines and certain, as your mom would say, quirks that we know how to navigate around. Did your wife have to navigate kind of the same waters?
Yeah, I have a unique savant ability, but also where I have to follow a certain time schedule every single day.
Sure.
I've spent over 35,000 hours memorizing and studying the Bible, and every day when I get home from work at 3:45 p.m., I have to do 2 hours of Bible work, and nothing can stop me. Even a polar vortex 2 years ago in January.
I remember that polar vortex.
Below temperatures, I still got up to work. I sat in my car with the heat off with 40 below with no jacket on, did my memory work in my car.
Wow.
So your wife knows that this
is just... She knows you don't touch that because it could cause a meltdown. Most people are like bottled water. You get shaken up, stirred up, not much is happening. I'm like Mountain Dew. You shake me up, I'm carbonated. Different pow.
That is great. Hold on real fast. I want to see how good you are with the Bible stuff. What's the verse about tattoos, right? There's no tattoos?
Yep, Isaiah 49:16. I've tattooed you on the palm of my hand.
There you
Your
go.
mountains are ever before me.
Look
See,
at
most
that.
people... I worked for Dr. Jack Van Impe.
Yeah.
And if you asked him that, he'd be able to quote you, but then he wouldn't be able to tell you the part, your mountains are ever before me. He only knows half of the verse. But with autism, I'm able to remember not only that whole verse, but that whole section with it.
I could have used you my freshman year when I took that first big religion class in my freshman year of high school. Oh, man, I was so bad at that class. They didn't teach you that in Catholic school growing up. Ron Sandison, I can't thank you much for coming by. The name of the book is
A Parent's Guide to Autism.
A Parent's Guide to Autism.
That's exactly what parents need who have kids on the spectrum, is a guide.
It is available on Amazon for the cheapest, obviously, but Barnes & Nobles. Do you have a website where you sell it as well?
I have a website. I don't sell them on the website. My website is Spectrum Inclusion, and the mission of Spectrum Inclusion is empowerment and independence for young adults with autism and employment.
All right.
Amazing.
Spectrum Inclusion?
Inclusion, yeah.
All right. SpectrumInclusion.com. Ron Sandison. The book is A Parent's Guide to Autism. Thank you so much for coming down. It means a lot, okay?
Thanks so much.
There you go.
There's more of Pat and AJ in the morning.